Let's unlock right away. There is no such thing as engaging or disengaging in Nibbana, in enlightenment. Nothing in such a way of yes or no. Let's end all practice, all the delusion in practices. In Nibbana, there is no such thing as letting go or not letting go. Let's end all the delusion to practice. Let's end all practices right away. In Nibbana or in enlightenment, there is no such thing as attachment or non-attachment. Let's end all the delusion to practice right away. Both attachment or non-attachment is not the way. That is the desire and opinions that is fabricated. In the enlightenment, there is no such thing as sila, samadhi, and wisdoms. Nibbana is not considered as anything. Neither is sila, disciplines, concentration, and wisdom. These are the fabricated states. Nibbana or enlightenment is not classified as anything, neither is about states of mind. All this reflection is all about how they create samsara in whatever ways. True enlightenment has nothing in such sila, disciplines, or mindfulness. All the form up of mindfulness to utilize. It is a form up. Without forming up, there is no such thing as mindfulness, concentration, contemplation. It is form up, temporary to use it, to bless. It is just formed up. Without forming up, it's not happening. There is no such a thing as mindfulness, concentration, contemplation, special insights, and wisdoms. Not having even the not having itself. For enlightenment, for Nibbana, not having even the not having itself. Let's end all the delusion to practice. Let's end all the delusion to practice for attainment right now. All the Buddha eras are to be giving ending to all beings. No matter how many Buddha times of the declaration of the Noble Truth is to be ending for all practices. All the practices are samsara in themselves. Whichever that is practiced, it is samsara in such a practice. No matter what it is that is practicing in the stillness, it is samsara that is in its location, in the indifference, in the stillness. This is practicing right here in its location. It's blocked right there. And it will be blocked in samsara, in the realms of existence. It is a kind of samsara. That's why it has a lengthy time in the realm of existence, in the samsara. Each period of time, long or short, it's according to the delusion in practices. That's why it's all about samsara. That is all about delusively practicing. It has nothing to do with Nibbana or enlightenment at all, even a tiny bit. There is no such a thing as involvement or non-involvement in Nibbana, in the alignment. No such a thing as engaging or disengaging in the enlightenment. No such thing as yes or no in the enlightenment, in Nibbana. No such thing as attachment or non-attachment in the enlightenment or Nibbana. Often unwinding from the unwinding itself, because when there is a lot of intention, it will be difficult for the body-mind. The more practices is more exhausting. In Nibbana, there is no such a thing as practicing or not practicing. All the delusion to practice or not is still a delusion. That which has nothing to do with attachment or non-attachment, engaging or disengaging. This will be beyond unwinding. This is the essence that is ending right away. Normally, always practicing in looking, knowing, seeing, always trying to practice worldly or Dhamma, always involved in this. Let's make a conclusion to purify. Use the reminders that help unwinding from the unwinding itself. Otherwise, there will be a lot of accumulation and then getting drowsy and sinking in. When there are a lot of Vedana sensations, it will be sinking in and be drowsy. Because whenever there is a usage of body-mind, it's accumulated and then sinking in itself. A lot of sensations, a lot of frequencies sinking in themselves. Disengage from disengaging itself. Nothing is within involvement or non-involvement. Unwinding, discarding the unwinding itself. Let's purifying more, much more. What you are doing is not a career. Just stop it. Because in the future you will be misled when you are doing something as a career, like misleading others. In this world, some of the careers are not careers, but they take it as a career. When there's a career, if it's not creating trouble for others, that's okay. Not creating trouble in all forms, that's okay. Then it will not having karmic bounce back to oneself. But you have to pay back for your own karmic difficulties. Do it well. Beware. You want to cut through the knowing or just misleading them with the knowing, because that is the karmic difficulties. Because when you have karma of questioning, always questioning the graces, all about knowledge, asking about knowledge, that's why you have to pay back as a teacher. It is a task that is a karmic difficulty. Therefore, you need to help unwind, giving the non-attachment to your students as well. It is not something to be attached to, just temporary giving it, but not to be attached to. Giving the essence of cutting deluded knowing. If you want to give knowledge to someone, it is temporary, relying on, but not something to be attached to, even knowledge itself. You have to be enlightened to this point as well. You can give anything, but you have to give cutting diluted knowing at the same time as you giving knowledge. Just like you have a label for the medicine, it's the same thing. That's all. It's not difficult. The wisdom also is not something to be fixated upon, relying temporarily with it. When you use or utilize anything, it has to be bygone. Knowledge has to be bygone as well. All the life and soul is the same. There is no need to separate religions from one another. Just live in the way without quarrels, without hurting and harming. In order to not doing that, it's from one point, dissolving all the attachments, dissolving the delusive attachments. The first point of conflict and quarrels is the attachments. First, from attachments to oneself, attachment to the nations, countries, living places, within body and mind, within all the races, including attachment to religions. This is the first thing that creates quarrels and conflicts. If dissolving all the attachments, it will be humble and open up the mind for each other automatically. And that is the living together without having to have weapons. Without ego, there is no war, there is no conflict. There's a lot of ego, whether in men or women. There's a lot of it. Therefore, universities have to give the essence that help unwind from all the attachment, not just misleading towards attachments on and on. In looking and seeing and knowing has to unwind from itself at the same time, because this is temporary using. Utility that is temporary using it, not to be fixated upon. Use it and that's it. Let it be bygone. Don't carry on top, on the shoulders. Looking, seeing and knowing is temporary used. It is to be bygone. It is not something to be attached to and fixated upon. You can work. If it's not hurting and harming anyone, you can do it because it's temporary and that's it. It's bygone. This is not to grab anything from it. Whether it's good or not good, complete or not, it's bygone because it's temporary forming up to do it. With this, there is no stress, no suffering. There is no need to find some drugs for mental problem. You need to look for medicine or drugs for the migraine because everything is just temporary, depending. Don't let all the delusive attachment deep-seated. Goodness or badness is not something to be fixated upon. Everything is bygone in itself at the same all the time. Therefore, don't do oneself, practice the body-mind in the way that is not bygone. Everything is bygone in itself. Let's not be delusively not bygone to it. Luang Por bless all religions. Bless all religions. And when blessing, not blessing religions, only helping through unwinding and releasing for the mind and the soul of the beings. Luang Por doesn't get involved with anyone's religions. Just helping unwinding and liberate the spirits and souls of the beings, whatever that are stuck with. หลวงพ่อ doesn't go and spread the religion, only to help end the suffering for the beings in the samsara, humans and non-humans, not to spread anything, only to help release and unwind and relaxing, not to spread Buddhism or religions at all. That's why หลวงพ่อ can go anywhere, can merge in every places and every groups of beings. Jerusalem is the holy place. Why there are wars? This is the question. Holiness is only namely. People forming up that the place is holy. Everywhere in this world, every inches of the land is holy land in this world. But people are not holy. People who live in the place are not holy. The whole world is holy. Because all those Buddha and great perfections and God are all everywhere in this world. And they are holy, but the people are not holy. And the holiness doesn't help anyone. Holy places don't help people to be liberated. Listen well. Holy places don't help anyone to liberate from suffering. Worse, moreover, if there is an attachment to the holiness, it will be more suffering. Because the delusive attachment is coming all together right there. Therefore, it's like the delusive attachment coming all together, more suffering is right there. When there is attachment, there is possessiveness and blocking others. All the delusive attachment is piled up right there, all together. And that's where there is quarrel. Everything is subjected to oneself. One has to relax from all the egos. Don't try to hold on to anything, because everything doesn't have any bondages. Non-attachment is good, but you have to listen to the essence of the enlightenment, that not attached even to the non-attachment itself. It's not just about not attached to anything. Purifying also the non-attachment itself. Then it is okay. There is no need to find any refuge. Ending is right there. But if you find a refuge, you find a suffering, another kind of suffering. Because the searching is searching for trouble. Searching for to be stumbling. Non-attachment is good, but you have to make a conclusion to this point that not attached even to the non-attachment itself as well. It's not that I'm not attached to anything, but it's still attachment to the non-attachment. Conclude it. Not attached even to the non-attachment itself, then it is ending right there. This is God itself, the essence of God. There is no need to search for God anywhere. Be the God within yourself. Let there be a lot of God here in everyone. May samsara full of God. Already mentioned, all of God, the essence of God is from non-attachment. Not attached even to the non-attachment, not attached even being Godness. Samsara as well will be like this. Not attached even to the non-attachment itself. This is not to search for a refuge, to hold on to somewhere, to hold on to. If you are unholy, you will be a burden to the holy places. That is a waste of time to pile up in such a way without sleep. With all the attachment, it will be the burden to the holy places. So, let everyone be God, so that you will not create trouble for God, because you always hold on to God, worshipping God with your delusive attachments, desire, delusion and delusive attachment, worshipping God, praying with God. It is the burden for God. Therefore, let everyone be God, so that you will not become a burden to God. Let all of you be Buddha, so that you will not become a burden to any Buddhas. There are just delusive attachments that is in groups, collective. When shooting someone, calling out Allah, holding a gun and then calling out Allah. Allah is having headache like this. Having descendants who are so dark, Allah has a headache. Shooting someone, calling out for Allah, that is headache for Allah. That's not the way. This is the burden of God. There is only just a delusive attachment. Delusive attachment and delusion, holding on to God like this, like that. This is just faith. Delusive attachment, which is an irritation to God. All those holy places are holy, but the people are not holy. They are just the burden to the places, the holy places. The center of the soul is actually the center of the delusive attachments. It is not a good thing. If those holy things or holy places cannot help unwind for the delusive attachment of the people, it is not truly holy. If it cannot help unwind from the delusive attachment from the people, how can we call it holy? It is more like a center of delusive attachments collectively of the people, of the beings. Holy things and holy places, you must know that they don't help anyone to be liberated. You have to be clear at this point. Otherwise, there's always delusive attachments collectively on and on. You must understand the essence of God, that everything is from the non-attachment. That means be the one who supports with great compassion. Blessed. There is no ego that is binding. This is not for oneself, not for the sake of oneself. So if you understand the true essence of God, just be the essence of God right away. Everything is nothing to do with attachment or non-attachment. It will be more extensive. Otherwise, it will always be limited to one's own ego.